This story is about what's going on the New York City subway. With 472 stops and over 850 miles of track, the New York City subway system is the largest in the entire world. It's also insanely inefficient. Flooding, rats, and decay have created substandard conditions all across the subway system, and staff shortages have not allowed the MTA to maintain cleaning operations. All the while, the price per ride of the subway has increased, asking the question, is it ever really going to be worth the price? To understand the subway's problems today, we have to look at its history. The New York City subway first opened in 1904 for 5 cents a ride. Over 150,000 passengers rode it on that first day. Today, the subway sees 5.6 million riders each day, and the price per ride has increased to $2.75. Since 1980, the fare has increased 450%, almost double the standard rate of inflation. It's rumored that the city will propose increasing the subway fare once again in 2022, all the way up to $3 per ride. Despite the increases in price, the subway is still dirtier than ever and slower than ever. The average scheduled time per train today is higher than it was in 1906, and passengers wait an average of 1.5 minutes for each train they catch. There's also an average of 2 million bacteria-forming cell colonies on every square inch of the subway. It's the equivalent of shaking hands with 10,000 people, right there. The reason the New York City subway is suffering is from problems in places the public cannot see. For one, they employ 2-man crews on every train, something most cities have already done away with. Another reason the subway is so inefficient is track maintenance. The New York subway is unique because it's one of the only transit systems in a major city that runs 24 hours a day. But this continuous operation means there's very little time for maintenance crews to get out and repair the tracks like in other cities. The main issue right now, though, is old technology, pre-World War II to be specific. Train movements are still logged by hand, track switches are manually operated, and signals are antiquated and difficult to maintain. Their fixed block system means that trains never collide, but they don't actually ever know where the trains are or how fast they're going. At the end of the day, all these issues lead to one big problem: a slow, dirty, and unpleasant travel experience. Change is coming, but it's happening slowly. The MTA is working to install communications-based train control, or CBTC, and it's already in place on the L train and the 7 train, but it's pretty expensive. CBTC signaling requires all new trains and infrastructure. The MTA projects 73.2 miles of lines will eventually get CBTC signaling, but it'll come at a cost of $2.15 billion. This Hudson Yards platform is one of the newest platforms in the city. It opened in 2015, and is also one of the only ones running CBTC system. They run the 7 train here, and it's one of the best ones that the MTA has. They say it arrives punctually over 90% of the time. Can you imagine if every train arrived on time over 90% of the time? We'd be living in a utopia. Regardless, New Yorkers need the subway, and despite the conditions, many commuters continue to use it because they have no other option. My 2 roommates here, Sean and Jack, ride the subway every single day to get to work. So we took a ride and spoke about what they think could be improved to make the daily commute a little bit more pleasant.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have too many problems with it. I use the subways a lot, and they get me where I want to go, and usually in a timely manner, not gonna lie. One thing, maybe like some sort of like more police enforcement on them.
Do you have anything to add?
This morning I was on the commute to work and there was a man. I would do it, but like it would scare everyone. It was the loudest I've ever heard someone scream. It was from Port Authority all the way to World Trade Center, just top of his lungs screaming.
The whole time?
The whole time. The whole time. And yeah, I'm just trying to get to work.
The subway needs riders. They reached all-time lows in riderships last spring. Billions in federal loans have kept the MTA afloat, but there's growing consensus among public transit officials that ridership may never reach its pre-pandemic levels. Less ridership could mean more cutbacks, less service, and even longer wait times. Commuter culture in New York City is changing. More and more people are working from home and have no need to take the subway for their commute. If the subway doesn't make any serious changes soon, less and less people are going to ride, and it's going to become less and less profitable. 10 years from now, the face of commuter culture in New York City might look a whole lot different than it does right about now. There's a bunch of cops behind me. Even though some platforms like Hudson Yards are updated and well patrolled, there's hundreds more that are underserved. New York City has a long way to go to prepare their transportation systems for the future. I've been Kevin Deneen. Thank you very much for checking out this video and watching it all the way through, and stay tuned to the channel because more content will be coming very soon.
This is Spoon Questions with Ed and Kev. All right, we're crossing. Kev, look both ways. Excuse me, do you have 10 seconds for a quick question? That's all right. Nobody's happy. We're all just commuting home. Nobody wants to do an interview about the subway.
You like riding the subway?
I like it, but it's very bacterial.
It's It's dirty?
It's dirty.
Do you think they could do a better job?
Of course. De Blasio, what's wrong with you? You need to stop giving money to the NYPD for IT, and cleanliness is next to godliness.
Thank you. Appreciate it.